What if the reality you're living right now isn't the final one? What if there are versions of yourself, freer, more conscious, just waiting for you to change internally so they can become real? Maybe you felt this moment before. Maybe something inside you already knows. There's a thin line between who you are and who you're about to become. Today we're going to explore something that isn't just theory, it's a turning point. An identity shift so deep it changes everything. What you see, what you attract, and even how the universe responds to you. This is the quantum shift, a leap, not gradual, not logical, but real. In quantum physics, an electron doesn't need to climb steps. It simply jumps to a new state. No warning, no transition. What if your mind and body could do the same? Science has already shown us enough to know that reality isn't solid or fixed. As David Bohm said, everything is process, movement. Particles exist in multiple states at once until they are observed. And in that moment, everything changes. A single particle behaves differently just because someone looked at it. What does that say about the power of your gaze? If the observer influences the outcome, what if your consciousness defines what is possible? The quantum shift happens when you change your vibration so deeply that the world around you has to reorganize. Not because you forced it, but because you became something else. Thoughts are waves, emotions are fields. If you vibrate in fear, scarcity, or doubt, the field mirrors back more of the same. But if you connect with gratitude, presence, and truth, doors begin to open, effortlessly. Carl Jung once said, "What you resist controls you." And quantum physics replies, "What you observe clearly transforms." But nothing changes without awareness. That's why the first pillar of transformation is awakening. Awareness is perception. It's seeing the patterns, the beliefs, the cycles. It's stepping out of autopilot, out of the repetition, out of the old story. It's the first real step toward a new version of yourself. If this resonates with you, like and share it with someone who's also ready to awaken. Once you awaken, the next step is intention, but not just a vague wish, a clear focus. Intention is knowing what you want to feel, live, and express. It's not just about wanting a better life, it's about deciding, with clarity, which version of yourself will occupy that space. Your intention is a seed in the quantum field. It needs to be specific enough to direct your energy, but open enough to let the universe fill in the details. Instead of asking what you want to have, ask yourself, what do I want to feel? If you desire abundance, what does it feel like to truly live in abundance? If you seek love, what does it feel like to be truly loved? That's what creates the connection, because emotion is the language of the universe, but intention alone is not enough. The next pillar is alignment. You don't manifest what you want, you manifest what you are, and to be means to vibrate, to think, feel, and act like someone who already lives that reality. If you want abundance but live in the frequency of lack, there's a misalignment. If you seek love but act from fear, you're out of tune. Alignment is inner work. It's about releasing tension, healing wounds, and reinterpreting the past. It's about feeling good now, even before the results show up. Emotions like gratitude, joy, love, and appreciation put you in the right state. Practice them daily. They're not just feelings, they're access frequencies. And then comes movement, the pillar of inspired action. Quantum shift is not about sitting and waiting for the universe to act. It's about listening to subtle signs, trusting the impulses that arise, and following them with courage, even if logic hesitates. Inspired action doesn't come from pressure, but from presence. Not from effort, but from connection. When you're aligned on the inside, the world begins to show you the next step. And even if it seems small, follow it, because that small step might be the start of the new timeline you asked for. Now that you know the pillars, how do you begin your own quantum shift? Start by defining who you want to become. Visualize this new version. Where do they live? How do they think? What do they do? Feel that person as if they were already you. This isn't just imagination. It's direct communication with the field. Then close your eyes and feel that frequency. Notice how it differs from your current one. Understand the choices that version makes, the emotions it carries. Immerse yourself in that vibration. Then ask for guidance. Ask this version of you. How did you get there? What did you do differently? Let the answers come without forcing. Your intuition is the listening channel. Now imagine that version entering your body, merging with your cells. Feel the impact of that energy. This is vibrational fusion, and in that moment you decide, this new identity is already mine. Keep that feeling alive, and the next day, reaffirm it. Choose it again, with actions, thoughts, and emotions that sustain that new vibration. Every choice reinforces the new field, and like that, the shift stops being a concept and becomes reality. But the path won't always be straight. Sometimes old patterns will try to return. That's when you need awareness. The ego will resist. It prefers the familiar, even if it keeps you stuck. Observe. Don't fight, don't judge. Just notice and realign. Doubts and fears will show up too. They're natural frequencies of the process. Don't resist them. Feel them. Recognize them. And remember, you are not your thoughts. You are the one who observes them. Return to your center. Reinforce your intention. And choose once again the path of expansion. Patience is the soil where the quantum shift takes root. Even if the leap happens in an instant, integration takes time. It's like planting a new frequency in the quantum field and watering it with presence, awareness, and consistency. There's no rush, because rushing comes from the mind. The field responds to coherence, not anxiety. Celebrate every micro victory, a clearer thought, a lighter day, a silent insight. Each one is a step toward realignment. To persist is to keep your field vibrating high, even when nothing seems to change. It's trusting that beneath the surface, everything is being reorganized, that your future reality is already being shaped by the choices you're making now. Even if you can't see the results yet, the new you is being installed slowly until it becomes as natural as breathing. And when that happens, you realize your life has changed too. You begin to magnetize experiences that once felt out of reach. Opportunities appear from unexpected places. Relationships gain depth and meaning. Your health improves. Your energy rises. Your clarity sharpens. Life doesn't become perfect. It becomes alive. And you feel something that's priceless. The certainty that you are exactly where you're meant to be. All of this is born from the pillars we've already explored: awareness, intention, alignment, and inspired action. But there is a fifth, silent, and powerful element that holds it all together. Time presence. It's what keeps your field active when the ego tries to cling to the old. It's what sustains your frequency even when doubts arise. It's the time you dedicate to the now, because the now is the only place where the quantum shift happens. If the old fear returns, and it will, don't fight it, observe. Carl Jung said, "What you resist persists." And Deepak Chopra adds, "What you accept transforms." Fear is not the enemy. It's an invitation to return to your center. When it shows up, breathe, feel, reaffirm your intention. Return to the feeling of the version of you who already lives in expansion. Fear loses its power when you choose not to follow it. Modern physics reinforces what ancient wisdom already knew. In the double-slit experiment, a particle behaves like a wave when unobserved. But once it's observed, it collapses into form. The simple act of looking changes what exists. Alan Watts, David Bohm, Greg Braden, they all pointed in the same direction. Consciousness is the forgotten variable. If the observer changes the result, then changing the way you observe changes the world you see. And this isn't just a concept, it's a practice. Simple practices with deep impact. The Reality Journal. Write, observe without judgment. What thoughts dominated your day? What emotions kept repeating? What subtle signs did the universe send? You begin to see invisible patterns, and by seeing them, you can transform them. The Presence Meditation. Not to escape thoughts, but to see them clearly. Sit in silence. Breathe with awareness. Observe your inner movements with gentleness. This creates space. And in space, choice appears. The vision board, a visual map of your new timeline. Images, words, symbols. Not as magic, but as a daily reminder of the direction you've chosen. The subconscious absorbs symbols. The field responds to clarity. Affirmations with emotion. Don't repeat like a robot. Feel each word. Say it as if it's already true. I am abundant. I am guided. I am free. The coherence between what you say and what you feel is what activates the field. And when doubt comes, because it will, don't be afraid. The quantum field doesn't distinguish between real and imagined. It responds to the dominant vibration. If doubt arises, look at it. Ask yourself, is this what I want to strengthen right now? If not, change the station. Return to your chosen frequency. The quantum shift is real, but it requires surrender, patience, persistence. It's not activated by wanting. It's activated by being. And being is something you practice every day, in every choice, in every silence, every time you choose to trust without evidence. If this message resonated with you, share it with someone who's also ready for this awakening. Because every new reality begins inside someone who decided not to give up. And sometimes what the world needs to change is just one person remembering who they truly are. The quantum shift can happen in an instant, but embodiment takes time. Be patient with yourself. Every small step is part of the transformation. To persist is to keep the field vibrating in the right direction, even on the quiet days. Little by little, the new you becomes normal. And with that, your life changes. You begin to attract opportunities that once seemed out of reach. Relationships gain depth. Your health, your creativity, your clarity, everything begins to bloom. But above all, you feel something that can't be bought or taught. Peace, a silent knowing that you are in the right place, being exactly who you really are. Quantum physics has already shown that reality is neither solid nor static. It's a living web of possibilities in constant motion. The double-slit experiment reveals, when no one observes, the particle behaves like a wave, multiple, infinite. But when someone observes, it collapses. It becomes something defined. The observer alters the result. What if it's your consciousness that defines how life shows up? Alan Watts said, "You don't come into the universe, you come out of it." Reality doesn't happen to you, it happens through you. And that changes everything. That's why you must cultivate gratitude every single day. List 3 or 5 simple things that make you feel good. It can be the smell of coffee, the sound of rain, a kind gesture. Gratitude is not just a nice emotion. It's a vibrational bridge that connects you to abundance. When you focus on what you already have, you send a clear message to the universe. I acknowledge. I receive. I am open to more. Choose consciously what elevates you, the music that calms you, the book that awakens you, the silence that heals you, the contact with nature that reminds you of who you are. Every small choice shapes your frequency. And the more you stay in elevated frequencies, the more natural it becomes to live in alignment with your desires. Listen to your intuition. It doesn't arrive as logical proof. It comes as a feeling, a subtle desire, a thought that keeps returning. Don't wait for guarantees. Take the step anyway. Inspired action comes from the heart, not from fear. Sometimes it's a message you feel compelled to send. Other times, it's an unexpected change of direction. Every step creates movement, and movement creates synchronicity. But remember, you're not here to control everything. You're here to co-create. Your part is to vibrate with clarity. The universe's part is to arrange the invisible puzzle around you. Don't try to force the how or the when. Let go. Trust. The universe has access to connections you can't even imagine. It works behind the scenes, orchestrating details with silent perfection. Be open to receive. Sometimes the answer comes as a person who crosses your path. Sometimes it's a subtle opportunity, an unexpected invitation, an ending that makes room for a new beginning. That is conscious co-creation. You are not alone. You never were. And if all of this still feels abstract, think of real examples. People who lived for years in scarcity but began attracting prosperity in unexpected ways after shifting their vibration. People who broke free from toxic relationships when they began to cultivate self-love. People who improved their health by releasing resentment and reconnecting with elevated emotions. This isn't magic, it's energetic coherence. But that power comes with something deep: responsibility. You're not to blame for what happened, but now you are responsible for how you choose to vibrate in response. The key has always been in your hands, and while that might feel scary at first, it's the greatest freedom you can have. You may not control the world, but you can master your response to it, and that changes everything. The journey of the quantum shift is not a destination, it's a living path. Each day is a chance to remember, to refine, to expand. You become an artist of the quantum field, an alchemist of reality, and every emotion you feel, every conscious thought, every aligned action is a brushstroke on the new version of your life. And the most beautiful part is that as you transform everything around you. Your frequency touches those near you. Your light ignites other lights. Your courage opens invisible paths for others. Your awakening becomes a silent invitation for others to awaken too. So the question was never, can I change my reality? The real question is, am I ready to release the old and open myself to the new? The universe is always listening, always responding to your vibration. Tune into the frequency of your soul. Live from your center. Feel before you see, align before you act, and allow life to respond with everything that was always yours, but that now, finally, you are ready to receive. Opening yourself to the quantum shift is not a spiritual luxury, it's an act of courage, a silent yes to your expansion. And the good news is, your new reality is already waiting for you.